obviously, and then the final headliner for the Aftershock tour on Sunday is Guns N' Roses.
I wonder if what Slash and the rest of the guys think of Chinese Democracy album. You know, you think that Slash would be okay with jamming some of the songs off that album?
How is Megadeth on the B tier? They're not headlining, but Megadeth is on here.
What? My eyes cannot believe what I'm seeing here.
But
Hold on a second. Limp Bizkit. I'm rooting for you guys, but I mean that's kind of insulting there.
no.
Okay, I mean I'm just gonna have to take that in. I'm gonna. Jeez. Okay. All right. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean,
we're gonna see who has the bigger lines formed, the bigger pit formed. I'm guaranteeing you, it's gonna be Megadeth. All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Speak of the Madman podcast here. I believe this is number 14. I am Joshua. He is Joey. So, speaking from last time, Joey, anything new pertaining to the world of music you would like to talk about? Because we do have a couple of topics we can talk about. We're gonna bookend the show here, so stick around later here. But we're gonna talk about the Aftershock Festival coming up. Pantera's Anselmo. Basically, he's disavowing the Confederate flag, the once flag that they proudly waved for many albums. And hopefully get some more comments here and we can discuss. But anyways, Joey, most importantly, what have you been doing and what have you been listening to?
All right. Thank you for that, Josh. Appreciate it. And welcome out there, everybody. I am Joey Jesus. And yes, what we were talking about earlier in the show, and I mean, obviously, I've been listening to all kinds of music, but I was actually wanting to talk about, interesting that I was reading about Ed Repka. He does all the artwork for a lot of metal bands out there. He did actually Rust in Peace. He's done Peace Sells. He's done one of Josh's favorite bands, which is Austrian Death Machine. He did a Total Brutal album. He's done Double Brutal.
Yeah.
And okay, and we have Triple Brutal.
Yeah, triple brutal. So yeah, and just coming up, I see on this great list another great album from a great band from Death, Leprosy. I love that. That is one of my favorite albums, and it's one of my favorite album artwork.
Hold on, Josh. You never told me about this. I had no idea that Death it was one of your bands, because I love the band Death. We don't. I don't even think we've ever talked about Death on this podcast.
No, nope, never. And it's just a quick tidbit. I was actually given a stack of CDs a long time ago by my cousin, and in one of the CDs was Screaming Bloody Gore. And when I listened to it, I was like in awe. I'm like, whoa, this is really rad. And I delved deeper into Death and come to find out Leprosy. And after I listened to Leprosy, it was it. I'm like, I'm hooked. This band is awesome.
Yeah, I had no idea about that. I had no idea that you were a fan of Death. Wow. I mean, that's a band I've been listening to for about 30 years. Apparently Ed Repka, he's done spiritual healing as well, like you mentioned. Yeah, I always loved Leprosy, that album cover. He looks like he has a very distinctive style of how he does his artwork. But I mean, those Death albums, they were always. I remember being young and seeing those Death albums, and always like it drawing attention. They always drew attention. I got my attention. The artwork. I always thought the artwork was just excellent with Death. And it's funny because we were talking about death metal in the last podcast. And for some reason, I have no idea how on earth I would forget to mention Death when I was talking about, when I went through all the death metal bands, Cannibal Corpse, Obituary. How could I not put in Death? Death has to be in the conversation because they've done so much for the death metal world. Chuck Schuldiner, the late Chuck Schuldiner, unfortunately, he passed away with cancer. The guy was just a legend in his own right in the death metal community. And I believe a lot of people paid their respect once he passed too as well. I believe I want to say he was a New Yorker. But I mean, who doesn't like the band Death? If you're a death metal guy or gal, you have to like Death. There's just absolutely no way that you cannot like Death and you're a death metal person. Okay, I'll just tell you that right now. I'll tell you that right now. There's just no way. All right. So, but he's done that. It looks like he's done Circle Jerks as well. Album.
Just looking at some of those artwork that I didn't realize it was him. So thank you for bringing up this great artist, Ed Repka. Yeah, he's done metal bands, death metal bands, punk. This guy has run the gamut. His artwork speaks for itself. I'm looking through here some of his collection: Municipal Waste, Hazardous, Mutation.
Name the band, name the album, because I definitely want to put him up later. Oh. I mean, he's done Megadeth, Holy Wars, Punish and Do. Mm-hmm. That's one of Josh's favorite album covers, right?
Yep.
He's done Peace Sells, But Who's Buying? He's done No More Mr. Nice Guy. Let's see what else he's done. He did NoFX as S&M Airlines, which I didn't know about.
Yeah, I was looking at that too right now, and I'm like, that's iconic.
Absolutely, it's got the girl on the plane.
A very like late 80s, 90s type of cartoon style. And it kind of reminds me of was it Anar Flux? It's an old TV from the MTV days. So very cool.
He's done Nuclear Assault, Game Over. I mean, SOB, Gate of Doom.
Toxic Holocaust.
Toxic Holocaust, Hell on Earth.
Yeah.
Wow. He's. I was watching an interview of him because I don't really think many people even know who he is. And he was talking about. I think he's from New York, and he was talking about how he got started. I guess he was. He was always been in art, and he went to Relativity Records, I believe it was, and he was trying to get work. So he sent them his portfolio. They liked it, obviously, because, hey, just look at his work, right? It's self-explanatory. You can see how good he is. And I think they had him do, I'm trying to remember the album. I can't remember what band. Venom. I think it was Venom. He said there was a box set from Venom that he did. And then not long after that, they liked him. And they pretty much summons him to do Megadeth's album covers. So, which I think Megadeth, I would have to say, is probably his most popular album covers that he's done. But he did that, and he would go along to eventually bands would start to hire him. So first he was hired by the label, and then after that he started to become hired by the bands reaching out to him, wanting him to do their artwork, and so that's how he went along with his career. But yeah, I mean, I just wanted to bring that up because again, I don't really hear anybody talking about it much. And he's just done a lot of work in the metal community. I know he does say that he's not really into metal. He's more into punk. He's more of a punk guy. But hey, it doesn't really matter. I wanted to bring that up, because he has done a lot of work through the years, and from New York. I think he was born in 1960, so he's about 62 years old right now. But yeah, he continues to do work for bands that I guess call him, and for the right price, he'll do your album cover.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so definitely want to give it up to him. Good
Yeah,
job, Ed.
special shout out. Like I said, great covers. Like just looking through this list that I pulled up: Leprosy, Hanger 18, Holy Wars. Wow. All right, so well, thank you for bringing that to the attention of myself and hopefully our viewers who can give respects to this Ed Repka.
Absolutely. But other than that, moving forward, have you had a list, Josh, that you wanted to discuss?
I was just going through, and I just found this cool Revolver article. It's just highlighting what is it, 6 best new songs right now, and I was actually listening to one of the songs before the show earlier today from Dead Heat. It's called "Endless Torment." Wow, it has a very old school hardcore style of album artwork, and the sound is very brutal. So go ahead and give them a try, give them a listen to, as well
What,
as
what are they called again?
Dead Heat.
Dead Heat. Okay.
Endless Torment was a song that I was listening to and really enjoyed. So give a shout out
Okay.
to them. And another band that I was kind of in this list that I saw was, let's see if I wrote it down correctly. It's from a band called Boris Uniform. Not surprised. And once again, it's a different type of sounds. Um, if I were to pick out of those two, I'd prefer the other song, just because it's more of my style. But this song, very different, and it's from a trio band. So I think the three of them. So give them a listen to. Here I like to give shout outs. Hopefully, we can get some more momentum here in our groups and our followers to give surprising bands, up and coming bands some love. So shout out to
Yeah,
them.
absolutely. I mean, I just definitely would love to be able to help a band that's up and coming, um, you know, that's doing well. Definitely something I want to do.
All right,
Um,
let's see. So speaking of band that really knows needs no entrance or definition here is Rob Zombie. Came up. He's coming up on a new album here. Hopefully, he says it's going to be released next summer. I was reading the article here on blabbermouth.net, and Rob Zombie is working on a next studio album. It's going good, he says. In the article, he was saying like it takes him a while because he sits. And Joey, I know you've written music. I know you've been in obviously the music producing side of it. His theory on music is he sits with new music, and when you write a new song, you get all excited because it's new. But he sits with it, and as he was explaining, if he sits with it for a good while and he still enjoys it, that means he actually likes the song, opposed to it just being a new song he wrote. Do you have how do you what's your take on that?
I mean, a lot of times it comes out organically, right? A lot of times your songs come out when you're just jamming and fiddling around with the guitar, and you come up with some type of rhythm that you like. I would just say record everything. Whether you like, if it's something that you kind of enjoy or something that you find interesting, just record it. Have a tape recorder somewhere, record all your ideas, and the more the merrier. The more songs that you have, the more material that you're going to have to choose from when you do put out an album. Is what I would say. But yeah, I know what you're saying. You know, Here's the thing with bands. Now that I don't want to go off into another subject, but obviously when they've been playing their songs for a long time, yeah, I mean they're not. As an audience, you're hearing the songs, right, or wherever many times that is. But you have to understand when a band plays a song, they're playing it on tour almost every night when they're on tour. Or they're playing the amount of times that they've heard, like Metallica, right? Master of Puppets. You know how many times they probably heard that song, right?
Mm-hmm.
I could be the biggest super fan, right? The biggest super fan. They have still heard that song many times over with me, right? They have toured. They have every time they tour, they play the show. I mean, who knows how many times that they've heard of the songs. The point of the matter is, because they play them so many times, whenever there's something fresh, whenever there's something new, obviously, naturally, it's going to be a breath of fresh air to have a new song. And that's what you're saying. You know, he comes up with songs, you know, it's a breath of fresh air. But as far as like whether you get tired of it or like it, I don't know. You know, you write a bunch of songs, and then obviously if you write better songs than what you last wrote, then you're going to use the better song, right? Than the songs that you're not really into anymore. So, but I would just say record everything. Keep a recorder with you. I mean, right now we have cell phones. You know, you could just have a voice recorder with your cell phone and just record whatever little jam you got, whatever lick you have on guitar. Just go ahead and record it down. And if you have any lyrics, sing the lyrics in the voice recorder. If you have a melody, you know, go no 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 whatever it is. Do it on your voice recorder and just keep track and keep your ideas. Even with this podcast, I'm always taking notes. You know what I mean? What I want to talk about. I have my pen. I do Android, so I have a pen, the S Pen, and I take out my pen and I write notes. It's very convenient. It's very fast. And I'm always writing notes about ideas and things. So if you're definitely a guitar player, you want to be always writing notes because there's been a lot of times when I wrote songs and I forget them. I had this great rhythm that I liked, and like we're talking like minutes later, I have forgotten it, and it's gone forever.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my thoughts about that. I mean, as a musician.
Well, yeah, I mean, for anyone that knows Rob Zombie, very, very talented. He's directed many movies. The controversial movies, we get the House of a Thousand Corpses. Have anyone seen that? That is very graphic, and I enjoyed it. But one of my favorite movies is Devil's Rejects, followed by his version of the Halloween movies, which is another controversial. A lot of people didn't like it. I did enjoy it. I did enjoy the acting. I did enjoy kind of the cinematography of that series of Halloween movies. But where do you stand on Rob Zombie, Joey? Because I haven't listened to Rob Zombie in a long time. So when I saw this article come up, I was very surprised. I'm like, oh, I'm happily. It's good, that he's still making music. But like I said, I was listening to The Sinister Urge a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a lot of stuff on his plate. I mean, he's doing directing. He's doing all kinds of other stuff. He's kind of like Ice-T, you know what I mean? He doesn't rap anyway. He's got all kinds of stuff on his plate. When they first came out with White Zombie, I mean, they inspired a lot of bands.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was even listening to an interview I was talking the other podcast about the last podcast we did about how I saw Meigs, right? Ross Cohen from the Cold Chamber. And there's an interview where he said he was inspired by White Zombie. And that's the reason why he wanted to do something. He wanted to play White Zombie type style rhythm. So he put an ad in the paper. He got a hold of Dez. And so if you listen to like Cold Chamber stuff, you can kind of hear the White Zombie type of rhythms that he was inspired by, along with many other bands. I'm sure there's a bunch of bands out there. I don't have their name right now off the top of my head, but that's one example, Cold Chamber, of a band that was at least Meigs was really inspired by White Zombie. And also, as you can see, they had a woman playing bass for them, right? So they wanted to do the same thing that White Zombie did, have a woman bass player. So they got a woman bass player. So yeah, that's what I think about them. I think that they've inspired a lot of people. They've inspired a lot of bandmates, and yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I do think that Rob Zombie is kind of an artist because I feel like he doesn't really get as much respect that he should, at least in the music world, because it's been so long. All of his major hits were from the early 90s up until the early 2000s. And, then 2000s, 2010s came around, he was just directing more. I mean, up in 2002, he directed that Netflix show or special, The Munsters. I watched it, and it's. I expected more to be a little bit more scary, but it was more of a comical relief, a more funny style for Rob Zombie. So it was interesting. But yeah, but any final thoughts on Rob Zombie, Joey, before we move on?
I mean, he got a style that worked. The dun 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 dun. I mean, just this constant rhythm that you could put your head through. So I mean, he made his mark. So and plus I like the Halloween movie he did, the first one,
Mm-hmm.
the remake. I thought that I liked the first one better than the second one, but I thought that movie was done really well. Um, but to be honest with you, I'm not every day sitting here listening to Rob Zombie all day long. I just remember White Zombie. I remember that album that came out. What was it called? The album. Wasn't it called like was it Thunder Thunder? Was it Thunder?
Thunder Kiss
Kiss
65.
65 or something. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I didn't want to say the wrong thing, but I thought it was Thunder Kiss 65. That's the big album, right? That's their most
Yeah.
popular album. If I did that album came out when I was in high school, so it's been a while. But Thunder Kiss 65, I think. Yeah.
Well, that's the song, but the
What's the album?
album.
What was
The
the album called?
Oh man, if it works perfect. Oh, it's on the. If I get that right, on La
Oh,
Sextro. Yeah, that's why I don't remember it.
L'Exorcisto,
Yeah.
Devil's Music, Volume One.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm sorry for any White Zombie fans that may be out there. Um, like again, I haven't heard them since like high school, but they made a big impression. Not the easiest name to remember, but hey,
I think
obviously,
in pop culture, I think let me quickly make sure of this. And there was some connection with White Zombie and Beavis and Butthead, which we spoke a long time ago in one of our earlier podcasts. And I just wanted to make sure because he did make an appearance, or he did lend his song in the desert scene with Beavis and Butthead. So anyone remembers that scene is one of my favorite scenes in Beavis and Butthead Do America when they were in the desert and they get dehydrated and they get into this like weird hypnotic, mind altering state and it gets all trippy and it was very I love that artwork that is shown kind of going back to what we were talking about the Ed Ripkin artwork. This is another type of artwork kind of like the Rat Fink style, very rad. I enjoy it. And it's something that was the product of the 90s. So I enjoy
yeah,
it.
yeah. Obviously, he did really well because we're talking about him, right?
Hmm.
But you said the desert, water in the desert, all messed up. That made me think of Jim Morrison,
Yeah.
the
Well, I,
Lizard King. Isn't he the Lizard King?
yep, he is a Lizard King. I couldn't find what I was looking for, but
That's okay.
that did remind me. So go ahead and check out Beavis and Butthead, the desert scene with White Zombie Do America. Go and check it out; it's fun. All right, so moving along here, just kind of a shout out to an album or a band. I don't know how you feel about them, but I for some reason found myself listening to Third Eye Blind. Joey, your thoughts?
Third Eye Blind.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what's the song? This is 90. We're in the late 90s, right?
I
Third Eye Blind. When I think of Third Eye Blind, I think of like
so
songs that would have been played like at Angel Stadium. You know what I mean? Between intermission.
so for some reason, uh, I don't know if it came up through my Spotify or maybe just by passing in the store, but I heard the song "Graduate" from Third Eye Blind, and then
I don't remember.
I kind of went down the rabbit hole here, and I'm like, wow, this one album, the debut album, had Semi Charmed Life, which was on every 90s movie, and Jumper, which once again was another 90s song that was on a lot of movies.
I can't. I'll be honest with you. I can't get the song in my head of what they sing. Um, I'm trying to remember what their popular song is, and I
It's
really. Josh, can you sing it for us? You mind
yeah.
demonstrating a little bit of how that goes?
Let me see. I don't want to ruin it, but I'll try. Let's see. So I'm gonna go. It's the big song, one of the big songs I'm pulling up on Genius here. So give me a second. It's that one song that goes, "I wish I can't even try to sing. I wish you would step back from the ledge, my friend. Could you cut ties with all the lies that you've been living with?" You know that song? And if you don't want to see me again, I would understand. You know that one?
Oh yeah, dude, now I'm getting flashbacks of being at the gym at
Yeah.
Bally's.
Yeah.
That's got to be their most popular song, huh? Hey, oh yeah, hey now, step outside the ledge, my friend.
Yeah.
That was pretty good, man.
I didn't want to.
Good.
I am not a lyricist. I don't know. I can't sing a note and I can't play a note. But there you go.
Yeah, that was good. Is there another song that you can throw in there and sing for us? You know, there's got to be another Third Eye Blind that you can go ahead and mix it up with.
You mean destroy? Let me see. I'm gonna pull up that one.
I'm in the mood of destroying songs right now.
Okay. Let me put. What's this one?
Yeah, let's hear you sing in your best voice possible. Just give it to me right now.
I'm pulling it up right now.
All right. This is going to be worth it because I've never really heard Josh sing.
It says, I don't remember this. I'm packing and I'm hollering. I'm smithing. She's living. She's golden. She lives with me, and I say she lives with me. Wow, I can't read, man. This is weird.
But put a little umph in it, you know.
I want something else to get me through this semi-charm kind of life, baby. I want something else. I'm not gonna listen when I say goodbye.
All right. I got the point.
That's
Third Eye. Right. Remind me why you brought up Third Eye Blind in the Speak of the Madman podcast.
Well, it's just the music from the past, and for some reason it got stuck in my head, and I went down the rabbit hole, and I listened to it when I was driving earlier this week.
I have to apologize on behalf of Josh and me. I'm sorry if you're metalheads, and you might not be Third Eye Blind fans, but I completely understand. But sometimes we go off the rail. Sometimes we got to do something a little different. And we got to bring Third Eye Blind up to light. We got to give them credit where credit is due.
To be fair, we've talked about Alien Ant Farm and Hawthorne Heights, so I think somewhere along the lines.
Wait, hold on a second. Hold on. You're going to put Alien Ant Farm in the same light as Third Eye Blind? What?
I'm just saying, pop rock, pop punk.
Wait. Pop rock, Alien Ant Farm? Come on,
I don't know.
Bro. Alien Ant Farm is completely different than Third Eye Blind, dude. They're not even the same ballpark, dude. Right? Alien Ant Farm is a good band. I'm not saying Third Eye Blind is not a good band, but we're talking about a different genre, man. I mean, what was the other band? You said Alien Ant Farm. What was the other band you mentioned?
We also talked about Hawthorne Heights. So.
Hawthorne Heights. Okay, Hawthorne Heights is a completely different other emo band, right? That's an emo band. Yeah. Straight up emo band from Victory Records. That's not even that has nothing to do with Alien Ant Farm, but yeah, I mean that would be off the rail actually. Hawthorne Heights would definitely be off the rail if we were to talk about them.
I'm just saying, yes, we are a metal podcast, but essentially we do speak about music and the rock and alt rock scene. So hey, why not? Hey, some people even compare Third Eye Blind and Chevelle.
Well, yeah, now you're just trying to piss me off, dude. It's nowhere in the vicinity of Chevelle. You leave my Chevelle alone, bro. All right, my precious Chevelle. You know how I feel about that band. But anyway, we're gonna have to move on from Third Eye Blind.
All right. So moving along. Bringing it back here to the metal. Pantera's Phil Anselmo says he disavows the Confederate flag. Quoting, "It's ridiculous, man." And it was it was all due to the fact that he was at, it looks like, Sofia in, what is it, Bulgaria, or at least in one of the European countries, and he saw a fan trying to wave the Confederate flag throughout the whole show, and it kind of towards the end, he pointed out and saying, "Hey, let me get that quote here." He said, basically he's disavowing it, and yeah, here it is, and I quote: "One more thing. There's a person over here holding up a sign trying to ruin the effing show. I disavow it. The effing flag. There you go. I'm sorry, it's ridiculous, man. Keep the politics out of it. It's boring." So,
Yeah, I mean, Phil has always been sort of a loose cannon. He always says some weird things, this offensive thing, I would say.
mhm.
I don't know why. I don't think he just gets drunk, but even like I've been drunk before and I've never seen anything like that. I don't know where he's coming from. I don't know. I mean, maybe some. You got to understand this is a man who was doing heroin for many years. I don't know if that disrupts anything from the brain. I'm sure it's not good for the brain. But he says a lot of things that are just completely, um, you know.
Well, you do give him credit for, kind of disavowing a flag that's, part of the South, that especially was part of, very, very famously part of Pantera's artwork.
Yeah,
I remember like seeing like stickers and shirts, just Pantera, anything Pantera. If it wasn't the, red, white, and blue or anything Snake, it was a Confederate.
no, I remember that.
Hmm.
Well, I mean, obviously back then too, there's different times. I mean, there's definitely more of a conscious mind these days now in our society. Back in those days, I never heard anybody even talking about it. I didn't hear anybody talking about it. Nobody gave him anything about it. Nobody said anything about the Confederate flag back then. I mean, Leonard Skinner has the Confederate flag, just a part of their logo, right? It's
Hmm.
part of their logo, So, different times, you know what I mean. So, but yeah, I mean, that's cool and everything, but it's like I just don't know wherever all that stuff comes from. I don't know what he had that one thing. Didn't he have that one thing a couple years ago where he was drunk and said some dumb things? You know what I mean? Of some
Yeah,
stuff
he
that.
was. Yeah, he was drunk at a show and he was basically saying, and I quote, "white power." He kept doing the salute, the Hitler salute with it. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's tough because I can speak for you, but we are both hardcore Pantera fans. I've said it, and you've said it on this podcast. You actually met Dimebag. You shook his hand many, many years ago.
The guy messed with me.
Yeah. So like we're Pantera fans, and it's just sometimes when you when a band like that is so polarizing, and they were using imagery such as the Confederate flag and stuff, you're in that territory that you kind of expect it. You don't have to agree with it, as we said in many other podcasts.
Yeah.
Sometimes bands go a little bit too political one way or the other, and you might still like them, or you might like their previous albums or what have you. That's how I always saw Pantera. That's how I always saw Phil. They're from the South, the hardcore South. You know, they made it mainstream, and they weren't really like with it, but it was with Pantera's merchandise. And it was funny because like there was one shirt I wanted to get. Uh, in it was in high school, and it was a Pantera shirt. And it was on Hot Topic, and it was cool. It had just like the Pantera, and it had they had the guys, the cast on the bottom of the shirt, and in the back it just said something about like I don't remember exactly how it was, but something like the I don't know, like hardcore, the South sound will rise or something like that, something weird, and it had a
Yeah, I
Confederate
think I
flag,
remember that. I think I remember that.
and I was like, as much as I like that shirt, it looks rad. I'm not daring to buy
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, it was something weird. It was like the South sound would rise, and and
Yeah, I mean,
apparently, uh,
I don't want to get into that, but I don't know. He's got great music. You know what? Sometimes bands, I mean, artists, they're great musicians, but maybe not great ideas. Sometimes they're not necessarily going hand in hand. Sometimes they're not very good people behind the scenes, but they put out great music. Look at O.J. Simpson, great football player, not a very good person though.
not a good person, and plus, I don't like what school he played for, and I know you didn't too.
It's fair to say that me and Josh are not. I mean, we despise USC. I'm sorry for any USC alumni out there and any USC, but it's our job, right? We're supposed to, and vice versa. You guys are supposed to hate us too. So, but yeah,
right.
I mean that's what I want to say about that. Pantera. I mean, I don't know. And Dimebag Darrell, he never really said anything like that. There's always Phil that would say all that wacky stuff. Dimebag was always just like, "Hey, man, what I mean, they'll get you a beer. You need to drink this. You will drink this." But anyhow, let's move on.
Moving along, let's talk about kind of the big part of our episode here is coming up October 5th, 6th, and 7th, and looks like 8th. Yeah, the 5th to the 8th, 2023 Aftershock at Discovery Park, Sacramento, California.
Yes, let's jump to that.
I have it pulled up here, Joey.
Now, I saw this show like a week ago. I think it was right after our last podcast, and I just couldn't believe my eyes. Okay, I mean, you look at this show. I mean, you saw Sick New World. Get a load of this show.
And I was like, what a perfect transition. We were talking about Pantera. Pantera is going to headline October 5th.
And rightfully so. Look at that. Man, look at that logo. It looks beautiful, doesn't it? I mean, I'm looking at this right now. This thing is just, I thought Sick New World was loaded. This, my friends, is loaded. We have Thursday.
Thursday.
Let's go through this list, okay? We're going to take the time. It's over half an hour, but who cares? This thing is just amazing. Okay, so Thursday, get a load of this for anybody who doesn't have the list in front of them right now. We got Incubus. All right, as one of the headliners, it looks like, and then we have Avenged Sevenfold. Great band. That is a fantastic band. I love Waking the Fallen. That's probably my favorite album from them.
Bad Country.
Yeah. This band straight from Huntington Beach it's just a phenomenal band. You know what I mean? And wow, you know what I mean? And then and by the way, the Rev, rest in peace. He unfortunately passed.
Mm-hmm.
He was the big founder. Wasn't he a founder? He was a drummer of the band. So my hats off to him. And then also we got Pantera, where we just unbelievable. Those three bands right there. And then my dad's favorite, and I love the band too. We got the Cult. Hard rock, the Cult. Great band. I love the Cult. Jesus, man, what a band! Look at all the '80s stuff that they did, right? The Cult, Sonic Temple, though, right? This band. I grew up with this band, the Cult, right? This band was around me when I was a kid. Look at I just have to take a minute to take, because I don't think we haven't talked about the Cult on this podcast. They have a Love, Electric. Sonic Temple is probably my favorite album from the Cult. They have a lot of great. Look at the songs I've sung. You know what? I can go a whole podcast on the Cult. Firewoman's their most popular song. Sun King is a great song. Eddie Shalvin, which I believe is about Andy Warhol's one of his assistants or something like that, Edie.
So, and let me jump in here. If this is your first time listening to us, Joey gets on these rants. I love when he does this because he's a passionate guy. He loves music. He can talk about it all day. I should know. When we went to school together during our breaks, he would just talk. I would listen. That's kind of the premise of the show and reason why we started doing it. So remember to give us, just give us a like, a subscribe here on Facebook or on YouTube. Go ahead and give
All
us
right.
one of the support.
Yeah,
But
please.
continue, Joey.
Yeah, no, I was gonna go. I'll make this short, but Rain, we got Revolutions. He sells Sanctuary. I mean, I'm just trying to remind everybody out there these songs that they put out, the things that they've done in the rock community. We consider them hard rock. They did Ceremony. Last album they put out, Under the Midnight Sun. I haven't heard of that one, but wow, what a phenomenal band the Cult is. That's a band that's always going to be in my heart. And then we have AFI. We have AFI. AFI. I wonder what songs are going to play. Is it going to be new AFI? Is it going to be old AFI? Is it going to be more of the new songs? More? I mean, what? Probably more of the new stuff. I would assume. And then we have anything about AFI.
Well, I was going to say, you guys can go back and listen to one of our first podcasts, and we spoke about AFI. Yeah, all these bands, just from a quick glance, have come up on many of our other podcasts. So give those a listen to when you have a chance. But this is what Joey and I call a festival that intrigues us dearly because all these bands speak to us. All these bands are our music.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that I'd rather go to this show. This show looks better to me than Sick New World, in my opinion. There's some powerhouses in here that I just love to see. There was a lot of bands Sick New World that I didn't even heard of. Like half the list, I was like bands I didn't even heard of. But this list, I mean, I've heard of a lot of these bands. Moving on, we have Pennywise. Okay. Another band that's been around for a long time. My personal favorite is probably About Time. I love that album. But that's another. Have you Pennywise? Are you familiar with him, Josh?
Not as much as you, but
punk band from Fletcher, Hermosa Beach. I met him a couple times. He used to throw up on people back in the day. He would put like a chain through his nose and bring it out his mouth and puke on his friends. Good times.
Sounds like a bit of a G.G. Allen style, I guess.
I'm sure that's probably like an influence of him. Unknown Road, Full Circle, Straight Ahead, Land of the Free. I mean, these are all. I mean, you want to. I will say this: Pennywise is. Some people they're kind of a bro band. A lot of the metal militia era type of guys would listen to these guys. Bro Hymn. Their famous Bro Hymn song ender on their set. But I mean, I've always been a fan of them. They're just a phenomenal band. And then moving on from that, we have Nothing But Thieves. I don't know if you've heard of Nothing But Thieves. I'm not really too familiar with them. Anything on them, Josh?
Nope.
Yeah, I can't say I know too much about them, but then we got the band L7, which is an all-girl band?
That's what I was thinking. L7.
Yeah, it's an all-girl band. How they still an all-girl band? I mean, they've been around for so long. Yeah, I mean, God, give it up for them. We have White Reaper, Census Fail. I've heard of Census Fail. Don Brocco, The Bronx. The Bronx isn't kind of their new band, I think. I'm not really sure much about them. And then we have Nothing Nowhere, Death by Rami, Beauty School Dropout, Holding Absence, Kim Dracula, Pink Shift, Thousand Below, Kid Capace. I don't know if that's like maybe a DJ type of thing. I don't know. Starbenders, See You, Space Cowboy, Static Dress, and Letdown. That's all Thursday right there, by the way.
That could just be the whole festival, but it's just one day. Yeah.
They're not going to end it there.
No.
We're going to go on Friday the next day, and guess what we have Friday? One of your favorites, Josh,
Oh,
Godsmack.
oh yeah, Godsmack, Tool,
I
and
mean,
and obviously the greatest band that's ever rocked in this planet, Limp Bizkit. Hereby my sarcasm in my voice. A few podcasts ago, I said I was a big fan of Limp Bizkit in my early youth. I'll still listen to them. No, all love, no hate. Limp Bizkit rules. But they are headlining this Friday, so that'll be interesting.
yeah, the Limp Bizkit, we've talked about them, $3 bill, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
I like the first album that they put out. Then after that, I just I didn't listen to them
Yeah,
anymore.
significant
Um,
other, chocolate starfish, and hot dog flavored water, and then results may vary.
yeah,
So
it's but hey, you know what? They're making a comeback, and you know what? They're a little older now. I got to give it up to the older guys. I'm rooting for the older guys. So I'm kind of glad to see them doing their thing again.
but
It's cool.
then, but I was gonna say it's very cool because speaking of the old guys, how is Megadeth on the B tier? They're not headlining, but Megadeth is on here.
What? My eyes cannot believe what I'm seeing here.
I had to read it twice. It says
I mean,
Megadeth
Megadeth took a smaller font here to Godsmack.
to Limp Bizkit. I mean, I guess Tool, but
Hold on a second. Limp Bizkit. I'm rooting for you guys, but I mean that's kind of insulting there, dude. Megadeth is below Limp Bizkit.
no.
Okay, I mean I'm just gonna have to take that in. I'm gonna. Jesus. Okay. All right. Well, I mean,
We're
yeah. I
hey,
mean,
we're gonna see who has the bigger lines formed, the bigger pit formed. I'm guaranteeing you, it's gonna be Megadeth.
wow. Yeah. I mean, I just okay. I mean, this is not the first time I've seen something like this, and it won't be the last. But Megadeth is that Megadeth belongs to be like right in the middle. You know where Tool's at? They belong to be like right there. Put Tool to the right or left. Godsmack needs to be a smaller font down, along with Limp Bizkit. But I mean, because I'm Limp Bizkit. I mean, what have they done lately? They're doing a comeback, but they haven't been around for many years. Megadeth is still putting out doing tours, and I don't know. We'll move on, but so we got Megadeth, and then we spoke about these guys, Coheed and Cambria.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, they're playing the bill. And you said like one of your buddies, I think. So you said I remember you saying I was a big fan of them.
Yeah,
Uh, but
family member of mine, cousin of mine, big
yeah.
Coheed fan. So that's how I was introduced to the band. Obviously, Apollo Burning,
And by the way, did
very great
anybody
band.
out there even listen to Welcome Home, like by Coheed and Cambria? You know, did anybody out there listen to it? Comment below. But that's a great song. I mean, I think I mentioned that enough. The last podcast, we got Skillet, Bad Omens, The Who, not The Who, WHO, but The Who, HU, Deaf Heaven, Memphis Mayfire, Attila, Converge makes the list. I've heard of those guys. I don't. They're like a hardcore band or something like that. Um, I don't know. Fill us in if I'm not too familiar. I've heard of them. Fire from the Gods, Polaris, Rain City Drive, Gideon, Currents, Varials, Strange Kids, Dragged Under, Tala, Hannibee, Widow Seven, and Death Valley Dreams. All Friday right there for you. And then from that point on,
Well, I was going to
we have.
say, if it was just those 2 days, that would be a really great festival. But there's more.
No, that's not. We're not. We're like halfway, 50% done right now.
Saturday, the big day, Saturday, we got Turnstile. Joey, you familiar with Turnstile?
No, I'm not. Um,
um,
I don't
I
know
think
how is Turnstile headlining, and then we have Megadeth up there on the top. I mean, that I don't know. Are they up and coming out there? Anybody know? Are they like an upcoming band or something like that? I mean,
I don't think so, because all the headliners have some pull in the music industry. So maybe it's just the Turnstile never really piqued our interest. But going here, we got 311. I believe you said that's one of your ladies' favorite bands.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it is, and it's one of your bands too, man.
I do. It has like cool sound, the chill sound that I like.
Yeah, that's
Um,
yeah. I mean, they're I don't know. They're kind of like a kind of stoner rock, I guess you can say. Um, I'm kind of get, but I don't know. Maybe they never really hit me. I guess you like, and they're kind of like combined with like POD. I mean, I think San Diego.
so where on the where do you put, if you had to pick real fast, either 311 or Sublime? Who would you go with? Because I know those are not both of are not really music you listen
I'll
to.
say Sublime.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, Sublime's always in the background. You know what I mean? It's not like I dislike Sublime.
Mm-hmm.
I like some of their songs. I can deal with them. It's like I'm not popping in their tape. I'm not buying their stuff, but I'm not turning it off either. So they're one of those bands for me. But other than that, we have. Go ahead, continue, Josh.
Well, I was gonna say, I'm gonna end it here with one of my favorites, Korn. We spoke on a podcast or two ago, Jonathan Davis, and yeah, Korn headlining for the Saturday day. So
It's Korn. Korn, horrible name, right?
mm,
But great looking logo.
yeah,
I always like the backwards R. I always like their logo. It looks good. It's just they prove to you that you can have a terrible name and be a big band. And then we have Slipknot's Corey Taylor.
yes, sir. And
I
his
don't know if
solo
he's doing like
project.
is it a like an acoustic type of deal or something like that? Because he does play acoustic stuff. I don't know. I haven't heard of them. Have you heard of Corey Taylor's solo stuff?
I heard a few songs, but just more intrigued by he was beefing with, I think, Machine Gun Kelly. I think I could be wrong, but
Oh my
well,
God, Machine Gun Kelly. Okay. Um, we got Parkway Drive. We got Baby Metal. Wait, hold on, I don't want to steal your thunder. Go ahead.
no, you can keep on reading because
Oh
I can barely see. But Baby Metal, you know these girls.
no, I don't.
So it's actually Baby Metal is like it's a trio, I think, or maybe it could be four. I forgot, but it's a trio of kind of Japanese or at least Asian girls, Asian women. And they play pretty hardcore. And I think it was their first singles or the first album I was listening to a few years back. And it was really awesome.
I think it's coming to me now. I think
Like,
wow.
yeah, the logo is like kind of like girly, but it's still metal. So I thought it was really cool.
I
So
like to see that. And they're Japanese. Are they Japanese?
I think so.
All right. I like to see some new things going on right now. Yeah, give it up for Baby Metal. Absolutely. It's good to see them in the on this list.
that was actually
Although
the one I wanted to bring up was the Baby Metals. Give them love. I think they're really cool. I think it's a really cool concept because
no.
they dress, just from the few times I saw them, it's like they dress girly, like they're wearing skirts, but yet they look, they sing and they're metal. And
Well,
there's a few times I read, in the comments of the music videos, and like people are like, kind of being mean or whatever. But I'm like, no, these girls are metal. They're playing hardcore. These girls have,
yeah.
and I think it's rad. So much
You
love
know
to
what?
Baby
It's like
Metal.
people criticize them,
Hmm.
but hey, look, they're playing at Aftershock side by side, 311 and Corey Taylor, and the people making fun of them. What are you doing?
Hmm.
They're
Yep.
doing it. Give it up for Baby Metal. We have Deathlock. Was that band that you were talking about, the Gorillaz type of band?
Yes, sir. And that's another band. So give it up to Deflock. Remember, they're coming out with another album. So I think it coincides with this tour. So very rad to see Deflock on there.
Absolutely. And then we have Avatar, Fever 333, or is that 333? I'm not sure. The Amity, Affliction, Sleep Token, Suko, Escape the Fate, Boston Manor, Fame on Fire, Catch Your Breath, 1056, Red Star, Holy Wars, Ithaca.
And is that a tribute to Megadeth?
That's what I was thinking in my head. That's what I was wondering. I mean, it'd be kind of weird if they were just they have the real Megadeth playing, and then you have the tribute band playing the day after. I don't know. You have Traders, Fox Lake, All Waves, and As You Were, and that is Saturday night. And then it doesn't stop there, as Josh was saying. Okay, we're going to keep going. It's like 75% of the show. We have Sunday. Josh, kick it off.
Let's kick it off with the band. I think you know, Rancid.
And Out Come the Wolves.
There you go.
Yeah, I think that's their best album. They have a lot of Let's Go, I think it is, and but I don't think in Out Come the Wolves. I don't think they've topped that one. I will say this: the cover of an Out Come the Wolves sort of looks a little bit like Minor Threat's cover back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Take a look at it. You tell me what you think. Got the guy putting his head down.
Yes, sir. I mean, Tim Armstrong and Lars.
Is that a parody? Is that a known parody? That album cover? The album cover of Now Come the Woods.
I don't know.
It might be a known parody of the Minor Threat album, right? Let's look at the Minor Threat album. You're in the famous album with the guy with his head down, and then you look at the Rancid and Out Come the Wolves, and we see a familiar head down on the steps. I don't know. I just started throwing that. I'm not sure if it's a meant parody when they did that, or if it's something they just copied. But hey, I love the music off that album. It's a great album. I think it's their best album. But just thought I'd bring that up because I've always wondered about that.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, because I mean, that's just you're right. Because on the steps, the head down. I don't know. One's hardcore, as in a straight edge hardcore, and then this is just hardcore music right here, punk rock.
I remember I used to buy records from this guy who he used to work for the guy I bought the records from, wholesaler, and I remember he was like this crusty punker type guy, old school, hardcore, like old school punker, mohawk and all that. And I remember he pointed that out to me. He's like, Rancid. Yeah, he thought they were posers. You know what I mean? And he pointed out that cover to me. So I just thought I'd tell that story because some of the stuff, some of the '90s metal, '90s punk stuff, I wouldn't even bring it up to him. You know what I mean? It'd be like, I don't even want to bring that up to that guy, because he's all about Crass and all this other stuff, huh?
Oh, well, Crass. That's a band I haven't heard since high school. Yeah, Crass.
Crass and Christian Death and stuff like that.
Yep.
Which is more Gothic, I believe. But he was like an old crusty punker like that.
Addicts and Adolescents, stuff like that.
Yep, absolutely. I believe his band, he had a band. It was called, I don't know if he still has the band. It's called Cyril, Cyril. Look him up. But yeah, that was, he told me about that. And then we have I Prevail. Oh, go ahead, Josh.
No, well, I was going to say Queens of the Stone Age.
Oh yeah, we skipped the whole headliner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, you have anything to say, Queens of the Stone Age? I just know that one. That's a band. I always know their songs when they come on, but I can never name the album. That's one of those bands for me.
Oh, that's with John. Is that John Homme or something like that? I think John, is it Homme? Is that how you say his name? Homme. I remember this guy because I remember Blag Dahlia from the Dwarves I think he got punched by this guy back in the day. He was like, I don't know what happened, but he got punched by him backstage. And then I remember reading that Blag got a restraining order on Josh. So every time I think about Queen of Stone Age, I think about him punching Blag.
And then obviously, and then the final headliner for the Aftershock tour on Sunday is Guns N' Roses.
Now, is that Guns N' Roses, right? Is that with Slash?
Is that with Slash? Is that without Slash? Is that with Axl Rose? Is that without Axl Rose? Like, who of the original lineup is there? Who is not? We've had this discussion many times before on this podcast of, is it the band without the key members? Just because they play the songs doesn't mean, or does it mean it's still the band, or does it mean it's not the band? Who knows?
Yeah, we argued about this on podcast 6, the lost episode. We'll have to maybe get it out there one day. But we did argue about this. Now, let me ask you this. I mean, I don't know what it's going to be. I mean, maybe we could look it up. We could see if it's going to be the All-Star lineup, or is it going to be like Buckethead out there playing guitar, right? I don't know. But I wonder if what Slash and the rest of the guys think of Chinese Democracy album, you know? You think that Slash would be okay with jamming some of the songs off that album?
I think that's erased from memory.
It is an official Guns N' Roses title, isn't it? But I don't know.
So is Saint Anger, okay? But at least Saint Anger has some redeeming qualities, I think.
I don't think I'll be honest with you. I don't think Saint Anger is as bad as people make it out to be.
No,
I mean, it's not old Metallica. Let's just get that out of the way. But it's not horrible.
No,
you know what I mean? The song, where they're at the jail, Folsom or whatever. But I think that's a pretty good song. I like that song. I don't know why everybody gave it so much crap. I don't get that.
Too much snare.
Well, the snare, yeah, I get it, but I mean, whatever, you know what I mean? They have so many albums, you know, you don't have to listen to that. I mean, it's just they were trying something different, you know. And by the way, I think at that time they were trying to think of whether they didn't want to do any solos anymore, right? Because they thought because it was a sign of the times and they didn't want to do any solos. And then Kirk Hammett said, you know what? We don't want to be pigeonholed into a certain era. Keep the solos in. So anyhow, I don't know about that. Moving on.
Joey, go ahead and read the rest for you, my friend.
No problem. I Prevail, Dance Gavin Dance, Daughtry, Bad Flower, Billy Talent.
Daughtry, is that the guy? He was on American Idol, right? Or am I wrong? Do you know this?
Gosh, yeah. You know what? I have no idea.
That name sounds so familiar.
Daughtry.
I think Daughtry. I think he's the bald guy. I think, or at least he was bald. I could be wrong.
I don't know who Daughtry is. I have to say, I'm going to go ahead and be honest with you. Daughtry is just not in my archives, my brain.
See, Bad Flower. Yeah, there you
go. Mayday Parade. Suicide Silence. I think he actually, that guy, I don't know if he's a guitar player or the bass player, he has a podcast that he does, and that's when I saw that Meg's interview. Suicide. I think they're from here, though. I think they're from like Riverside or maybe even Huntington Beach. I can't remember, but I think they're local boys from the area. So good for them. We got Movements. We got Aaron Jones, You Me at 6, Austin Meade, Jenny Beth, Red Light King, Wargasm. Gotta love Wargasm. Tiger Cub, Call Me Charisma. Wait, didn't he Call Me Charisma already play? No, that was Apache. Never mind. Ryan Oakes, Nomi, Devil's Cut, Luna Ara, and Asava.
There you go.
That's it. We're done. Hosted by Jose and Metal Ambassador Megan.
How come we're not metal ambassadors? We can be metal ambassadors.
I don't know why they didn't call us, so we could do the podcast over there, you know? I mean, we would have definitely added some material, right?
Well, anyways, that's the Aftershock Festival, once again headlining in Discovery Park, Sacramento, October 5th through the 8th.
Let's see how much this thing costs, right? We just gave you what they're selling. You can purchase 2023 passes for only $10 down. Okay, what happens if, let's just go ahead and do it. Let's go, it's 4-day weekend pass, okay? Weekend general admission. Is this the 4-day pass? What is this? Let's see. I'm trying to figure out how much this thing costs.
I got the 4-day weekend general, just for the general admission for 4 days. Select ticket if it allows me. It's starting right now at $400 with the fee of $83.
500 bones. There it is, guys and gals, for $500.
Oh, but you have a 4-pack, so I guess if you want to bring 4 other people, they come in packs. Basically 1,500 and then a fee of 300. So yeah, about 18, 19,
So
almost $2,000.
so somebody comes in free.
That's
right?
what it looks like, yeah.
I mean, if I got the money, I'm paying for that. Right?
It's a good lineup. But let's just play a game real fast. If you were only to go to one day, which one would it be?
Yeah, because I'm 44 right now. It's just, that's why I think Sick New World, they did it all in one day, didn't they? Was that 2 days?
I think it was at least 2 days. I think
was it
maybe three, just because I think it was just a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah, they knew their demographic. They knew that there was guys that we're older now. We don't want to stay that long. We don't want to mess around with that. But let's go ahead and take a look at
God, as much as I would really love to see AFI, I think I'd pay just to see Megadeth and Coheed.
Okay, hold on a second, partner. Let me take a look at this. Guns N' Roses and Rancid though would be cool. But you know what? It's going to be, and this is because my girlfriend loves Incubus. I'm probably going to have to do. I'm going to have to do the first day. Incubus, Avenged Sevenfold, Pantera, The Cult, AFI, Pennywise. That's it for me.
That's a good weekend. I mean, so for your lady, Incubus over 311, huh?
Wait, hold on a second though. But then I have to skip out on Megadeth. But then again, since Megadeth has the lower font because they're ball, that means that they're going to be playing not as long as Godsmack.
Probably because 30 minutes, 45 minutes?
They're not headlining, so what is it going to be, 45 minutes for them? How long do they get? Like an hour? That weighs into the decision here, right? I like Tool, but you know what? The only band that I like, I really want to see. I mean, we might see Coheed and Cambria, Megadeth, obviously, but I think Avenged Sevenfold, Pantera, The Cult, AF5. That's just too much. That's just too much ammunition right there. That's just way too much. Thursday's it for me. What about you?
I mean, you did bring up a good point, but I would really love to see Korn. That'd be rad. The Baby Metal would be cool. Death Clock would be really rad. You know what? I think I'll still probably pick Friday.
You're gonna go Friday.
Yeah, with Tool, Limp Bizkit, Godsmack, just to see Megadeth and Coheed.
Okay. Yeah.
But anyone listening and anyone going to listen to this, who do you pick? What day would you pick?
Yeah, which day would you? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Which one is it? Yeah, I'm actually a pretty strong Thursday. Like that's not even a toss up for me. I love Megadeth, but that's just too much power behind it. There's like six bands, yeah. So not without a doubt. But that's going to be that is pretty expensive. I think they also have other type of passes too. What are the other passes that they got available? They got a single day pass too. How much is a single pay pass? $134.99 if you want to go one day. There are 4 price levels: $134.99, $144.99, $154.99. I don't know what the difference is, but you're paying about $150 plus whatever fees or whatever. I mean, a little less than $200. I'd say $200 or a little less maybe than that for one day, which I think is worth it, right? I would just go one day. You don't have to go all 4 days. I just go one day. I would do that. I would consider that. This is Sacramento. I would consider doing that. One day.
An 8-hour drive. You can make it.
As a matter of fact, I see that Friday, Saturday, Sunday is sold out. No, Friday, Saturday is sold out. Wait, no, single day VIP. No, that's single day VIP. I stand corrected. They have a single-day VIP ticket. What do you get with the VIP? Includes a VIP wristband for Thursday. What do you go, backstage or something, or what?
Yeah, right.
What is VIP? It comes with a pass and hotel packages. So you get hotel packages too. What else is there? VIP detail. Let's look at the VIP detail really quick. You see here, commemorative. I had a hard time with that word, man. VIP laminate and wristband. Dedicated festival VIP fast track entrance lanes. Access to VIP lounges and tree-shaded lounge spaces featuring comfortable furniture and live audio and video streams. Both main stages, water refill station, air conditioning, and flushable bathrooms, restrooms, dedicated guest service team, access to a dedicated festival merchandise booth, private locker rentals with charging capabilities, premium food and drink offers, and that's pretty much what you're getting for VIP passes.
Let me just say this.
Yeah.
These last few years of all these festivals doing all that noise,
Yeah.
man, I remember it didn't matter. You didn't need all this little glamping, glow up camping. You went in and you sucked it up and you stood in line for your favorite band, hell or high water, rain, sleet, or snow. It's like I understand everything's a money grab these days, but man, if this was 10, 15 years ago, all that glamping wouldn't be there.
So you want to go ahead and call out all us old fogies, who just want to freaking glamp it down there, huh? All right. I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, if I'm 18, 19 years old, I'm doing all 4 days, right? I'm not taking a shower. I'm not doing anything. I'm probably sleeping in somebody's car. I don't know what I'm doing, right? But as long as I'm with my friends, that's all that matters, and that's probably what I do. But these days now, sorry, Josh, dude, I would be taking 1 day only and getting out.
All right, Joey. Well, let's wrap it up here. What a great festival that it looks like it's going to turn out to be. Any other thoughts, questions, or concerns that we should address before we say our goodbyes and we say congratulations to another great podcast? I believe number 14, as we said.
The only other thought that I had, Josh, is that, I was talking about, just really quick, I'm not going to go on a rant. Bullet for My Valentine. Remember I was talking about Fever? There's a song on there, I think it's called Alone. Alone, as I like the Forsaken. The guitar player was definitely listening to that song before he wrote this song. Anyway, I didn't go off the rail. That was on my mind.
Well, thank you everyone for another great evening here. This is Speak of the Madmen podcast. I'm Joshua. He is Joey. And we beg you adieu.